Army helicopters joined in the search for the killers. It's thought they escaped across the border only yards away. At least 2 gunmen opened fire on Mr. Hillen as he worked in a piggery near his home. His wife heard the shots and ran out to find her husband lying dead. He had been shot at least 10 times. Near Lismore, 2 policemen were slightly injured when shots were fired at their patrol car.
Last night we had an explosion in the Ballygolly area, which was merely a ruse, a diversionary tactic. Then we had the murder this morning of this UDR man, and then on top of that we had the 2 policemen injured in an IRA ambush.
This week, 3 part-time soldiers have been murdered. The police admit their job in stopping the attacks is difficult.
Today's circumstances show that it's extremely difficult. You're talking about vulnerable people who are doing an important job but living in vulnerable areas. After all, we're only a couple of 100 yards away from the border at this moment in time. And that leaves virtually the road open for people who are determined to murder, to do so by coming across.
The funeral was from Mr. Hillen's home at Lismore near Augher. Several hundred people lined the narrow laneway to his house. It's an isolated part of Tyrone, only yards from the border with the Republic. Mr. Hillen was a colour sergeant in the UDR and had served as a part-time soldier since its formation. He was the 143rd member of the regiment to be murdered by terrorists. He was a married man and had a 12-year-old son. The funeral cortege travelled several miles to Ballygolly. Many of the local shops closed for the afternoon. Former UDR colleagues of Mr. Hillen carried the coffin into the local Presbyterian church. There, a minister had a clear message for the British government. He said Mr. Pryor could listen to the sweet whisperings of enticement from Dublin. Mrs. Thatcher had no trouble hearing the bleating of the sheep in the Falklands. But, he said, they conveniently plugged their ears to the agonising groans from Ulster.